Welcome back to episode 4 of the NAmen Podcast. We have a new guest with us here today, and we're going to be talking about Playins because that just ended. We're right about to get into groups as well, which is very exciting. And yeah, ready to nerd out about NA and do less simping than last episode. All right, let's go introduce ourselves. I'm Arsh. I'm going to be hosting for today. Next up.
I'm Delfi. I have been watching a lot of Chimps so I guess that's what I'm talking about today.
I'm John. I'm new to this podcast. EG social media intern. Follow me. Haha.
I'm Numiii. I'm your community manager for Travis Gafford Industries, and also I'm your world's ticketing person on Twitter.
The goat of world's ticketing information. And lastly.
And I'm Andrea. I'm apparently known to be an EG fan in Mexico because I'm the person that keeps being posted about by the LCS Twitter account, so that's Poggers.
All right. Yeah, okay, that's all of us for today. So first topic is apparently going to be how to pronounce our name. It is NAmen. I said it wrong at the beginning of the episode because Travis's Discord bullied me, but it is NAmen. This is the name of our podcast. Do not get it wrong. I won't get it wrong either. All right, for today, we've got a fun announcement. For the first time, we are sponsored. Numiii, you can take it away.
Yeah, so this is our first sponsorship ever for our podcast. So I would like to give a huge shout out to Travis Gafford Industries. He actually took the time to sponsor us this episode, gave us a little bump in our production. So thank you so much, Travis, for the sponsor. So please, 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 he's doing a world's first time live Hotline League tour about 5 cities in America. The first one is tomorrow with Mark Zimmerman, our favorite caster, and the one and only Doublelift. So please, please, please show up. It's going to be a really fun night, I promise you. So thank you so much, Travis Gafford Industries, for sponsoring this episode. Travis, you all right?
Yeah, and there's absolutely no bias there from our sponsorship announcer, who definitely does not work at TGI.
I've actually never heard of this industry. I actually don't know what esports is.
Completely complete noob to the space and the person we're talking about. Anyways, huge shout out to Travis. That's really very based of him, and I know he doesn't know what that means, but Zoomer lingo. So we've got a lot of stuff to break down. First thing is that EG, the Worlds video that came out. If anyone wants to take that away, Andrea.
Did you watch it, Arsh?
I don't know what the topic is. You wanted to talk about it, Andrea. So
no, I put
go
it in
ahead.
news because it happened.
I don't know what we're talking about, so maybe educate me. All right, I'll sit my brown ass down and listen.
He didn't watch it. That's why you mentioned because he didn't watch it.
We prep. So for starters, we actually do prep for this podcast. We do a lot of prepping. We have like a meeting and stuff. So if y'all coming in and don't know what's on our
so educate me. What is this EG Worlds video we're talking about?
So EG. Okay, yeah, John, take it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. If last year, if you remember, Ovally did a video in collaboration with Team Liquid for Worlds. She did one this year with EG for Worlds.
Yeah, in my head that's an Ovally video, not an EG video, but of course it is Evil Genius's very, very good marketing, I would say. Worked out really well last year. Anyone want to give their opinions on it? I feel like this is more of a not me thing. So if anyone wants to tell me how they felt about
slayed, guys. Like, did you see Nicole in that? She absolutely slayed.
Yeah, I can't imagine Nicole in that kind of setting, maybe because I see her so professional, but it was pretty funny to see her in that way. But yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched the video yet. I have no input on this.
Oh wow, where's this?
I said I did my prep for this episode. I did not do my prep on this topic.
All right. So we brought up this topic, not knowing that nobody has watched this video. I'm sorry for every EG person that's listening. Of course, every person at EG watches our podcast. Of course, John watched it. It's his job. That's not really that exciting.
I remember Ovally tweeted about it like 2 weeks ago, and everyone's like, "Why are you in the EG compound?"
Yeah,
she didn't say anything. I remember that.
Yeah, true. Okay, wait. So the more exciting topic. We did just have Playins end. After that, we'll talk about a couple of other things. But Playins did just end. A certain North American team made it out of Playins, guys.
Let's go. Oh,
Go EG.
What did I say last week or 2 weeks ago? NA pride. NA regional pride. So
I mean, it was quite a dominant 3-0 against Mad Lions. I don't know if anyone watched that series. They want to talk about it.
Yeah, I liked that series. It was really nice. I felt really bad for like the Mad players because they looked really sad after it. But
Yeah, it's tough.
it-
Second time.
it's okay. I'm not gonna roast the players. I was gonna talk about how like I was gonna go more in depth than just my tweet about like how it felt really bad for like that team to get swept again, and then European fans started talking, and I just kind of gave up. But I felt really bad for them. But I'm really happy for EG because they slayed. They really did. They ate down. They Texas. They Gaga boots the house down. Like
I'm sorry, they
the whole nine
Texas Gaga boots the house down. I am 18 years old and I feel old. How do you, a person who is 1 year younger than me, make me feel decrepit? Those were 7 nouns in a row.
this is the weekly roast Arsh thing. So
Oh
this is our
yeah,
weekly
I
thing.
also did get roasted for this. I said that, listen, with their day one performance, it's not that I didn't believe in EG, it's that my heart was broken for EG, because that day one draft that they came out with was, I mean, listen, Rigby, I know you listen to this podcast because you follow me on Twitter and you love all my tweets. Presumably you are listening to this instead of prepping for Worlds. Bro, that day one draft was crazy. That was something else. And I said I don't know if EG can make it out of Playins like this. And then they got better. And then I was like, you know what? I take it back.
I have 2 screenshots right here. I think that from Arsh. I think this might be the first year an NA team doesn't make it out of play-ins. Also from Arsh. I don't think EG make it out of play-in. I just want to let you know that nobody agreed with this. He got completely like thumbs down voted.
So-
we all ratioed him.
So when I said
Um,
I think this is the first year when NA team doesn't make it out of Playins. The letter M and the letter N are really close on the keyboard. I'm going to type when a mad team doesn't make it out of Playins, and I forgot about the first time when they also didn't make it out of Playins. So it would be the second time. It was just a little
revisionist
typo, you know
history.
what I'm
We have receipts. We have receipts.
saying? No,
Bro
you
actually
don't.
has like selective
I don't even know what
memory.
receipts are, so. Okay. But now that we're heading into group stage, this is the premiere of a lot of big teams. I think Playins generally played out the way people wanted to. We could talk about minor regions, but I think, I mean, it's an NA podcast. We want to talk about the NA teams that are going to be debuting. So, before we talk about what we think about their debut, let's talk about what they're wearing. Cloud9 revealed their jerseys. What are our thoughts?
Mid, but better than EG.
Mid, but better than EG.
It's not that's not a high bar. That's a really low
Okay,
bar.
but consider
Delphi.
who has a good Worlds jersey this year. Because I know Gen G is not a North American team, but goddamn, their jersey made EG look high effort. And I'm sorry, John, but EG's jersey does not look high effort.
I think
Y'all are
all the
roasting it
jerseys
right
are
to John's
so
face.
whatever that I
The
just
Gen G
don't
jerseys?
know.
You don't dislike the
No,
Gen
no,
G
no, no,
jerseys?
no, no, no,
Oh.
no. I mean, in general, like World's jerseys have just
Yeah,
been
this year?
so
Except for
mid.
Gam. Gam Esports slayed. Gam Esports literally.
That's true. Gam's
Gam
jerseys are
is
gonna
so
look sick.
good.
I mean,
Gem's
I
gonna-
like
Gam-
Gams.
Oh wow. Everyone ignore
Uh,
that.
Okay.
I just tripped over my words like 4 times. Andrea, go ahead.
I actually like when I was watching them. When I was seeing them in the studio, the matte ones looked a little bit better than I thought. But
Mad ones?
other
I
than
like the Mad ones.
yeah,
That's true. The Mad ones did
Lions
look pretty
ones,
good.
yeah, they looked pretty neat. But I still feel like the vibes were not there with most of the jerseys. Like it just felt like everyone went so neutral and so toned down.
Yeah,
for some
I'd agree
reason.
with that.
Jersey was mid.
So like in previous Worlds years when we had China, there was this big dragon theme, right? Very
Mm,
regal.
His son's jersey for that year was so good.
Oh my god,
Oh
like
my
I think
God.
G2's jersey for 2020 was perhaps the best Worlds jersey ever. And I mean, I'm a G2 fan, right? Now that Carlos is gone, I'm unabashedly a G2 fan. But I mean, that jersey is incredible. I think even as someone who doesn't like G2, you have to admit that 2020 Worlds jersey was incredible. And when I compare the jerseys that we have this year, even G2's jersey this year, I'm thoroughly disappointed. I mean, these are like the Cloud9 jersey isn't that just a jersey they've used before? Like, am I?
I'm actually looking at their
Why
Instagram
do all
picture
the
right now,
Cloud9
and
jerseys look the same? No,
I'm looking at the Instagram picture right now. I actually didn't realize that I was looking at the logo. Like, I don't know if y'all have the jersey pulled up if you're
Wait,
listening
you
to
just
this,
thought
but it's like,
you just thought it was like a
but
blue
really,
line?
it's in the middle of the logo.
Yeah, it's a
So
logo.
I'm looking at it, so
But
I'm like, what am I looking at? And then I realized it's the Cloud9 logo,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's so
super zoomed
zoomed
out.
in, like, on the jersey that I don't even know what this is.
Well, you didn't watch it back when this was a
I did
popular
not.
design, but like
Yeah.
Cloud9 has used this jersey design
Yeah,
across a
it's
lot
the
of
same.
games. It's like really iconic. But I mean, come on, like
C9 fans, please don't roast me. I'm
like
very
don't
new
use
to here.
maybe you know Jack also watches this podcast. You know we know that. Like come on, dude. Like maybe a new design. You know what I mean? Like we use that. It's cool. We like it. But maybe something else. Ooh, something new. Anyways, that's one place where I'd like to see 2023 big improvement from the team side. We're like, let's get something interesting going, please. I mean,
Well, I
use an
personally had
American
a
symbol,
jersey.
right? Like, if you wanted to use a Chinese symbol of a dragon, right, very popular in popular culture, use like, I don't know, bagels, freedom. Like, put that on there. You know what I mean?
What?
Bagels
The
and not
Second
an
Amendment.
Bagels?
Put that on your jersey. Put the Second Amendment on your jersey. That is what I am.
Wait. I'm not past this point yet. Why are bagels an American symbol?
I just feel like bagels are like mostly an
I
American thing,
don't
no?
agree.
I haven't seen. I mean, I've traveled like to Europe and stuff. I don't see bagels over there.
Yep. I mean, this is from my family in India. Is like they love bagels when they come here, but they don't get bagels in India. So I just kind of assumed this was like mostly an American
Okay,
Western
okay,
world
I
but-
thing.
don't think bagels is like only an American thing.
Yeah,
but-
bagel are as American as something, I don't know, Abe Lincoln. Put Abraham Lincoln on your world jerseys. Just do something, right? Like just do anything, right? Like I don't like G2 made like a lightning theme. Like we're not going to Arizona. What's the lightning? You know, I don't know. I was big disappointment.
Also, why are the Cloud9 World jerseys so expensive? They're $90. Like what?
That's 100 Thieves level, and I know it's not as nice as 100 Thieves is.
Inflation.
Oh,
Okay,
I did
but
not
the-
look at the prices.
But the EG jerseys are still sell for $60.
Okay, our resident EG fan.
EG
EG
jerseys,
fan.
I wouldn't value it more than $6.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Let's move.
support our teams
No,
and the money they want to make from their
Come on,
content.
man.
I was joking. I would value them at well over $6.
Also, like the
$7,
ones that-
maybe.
the
$7
ones
or
that they sell to the
perhaps
fans, though-
$8.
Okay, the ones that they sell to the that are like being sold to fans is different from the ones that the players are wearing, specifically for EG. Because I know
know
that
they
the
are.
players,
It's making me
the players
mad.
have like a championship one or like a champion one, and I wish I had that.
Oh, I have one of those.
Oh, Andrea got free jerseys. Andrea, do you want to talk about? We kind of moved on from Playins, but not really. Like, if you want to talk about, you went to Playins. You went to Playins in real life. How was that?
One of us,
Wow.
one of us went to Playins in real life.
Well, it was pretty cool, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cool. I just went 2 days, but I was very surprised by how fun the crowd was. I don't know if the broadcast picked up. I think they did, but the crowd was really, really excited, and they were just making so much noise. They were popping off really all the time. It was like, for such a small crowd in such a small venue, it felt everything felt super hype.
Were you there
Uh,
on the same day as Evie guy?
Okay.
Oh my God,
I
Evie
was
guy.
there. I was there for Evie guy.
Did you
Yes,
get
I
to
was
meet
there.
Evie guy?
No, I did not meet him.
Why? Okay, so Andrea, for the future, just some notes for you. We can use podcast guests, and Evie guy would be incredible. We would get so. Imagine if we posted, we got Evie guy. We would get
Okay.
so many viewers. You
True,
gotta.
you're-
This is
you're right.
capitalism. You gotta think about that. Next time, introduce yourself to Evie guy. Say you run a massive podcast, and he could come on. But I mean, that was incredible. That's what I want to be when I go to watch LCS. I want to be
You want to be
Evie guy. Except I'm gonna go to World's Finals. I'm gonna be Caps guy from the second floor.
Okay, but like
Caps.
Caps isn't even gonna make World's Final.
So it's a weird thing for you to say
Oh.
when Caps is it's gonna be Caps in the World Finals.
Oh,
Dude, I know it's unreasonable, but if it was Caps versus Chovy in the World's Finals, John, you would need to hold me. I would collapse. Like, dude, just the idea makes me so happy. Or an NA team, but I just feel like that's slightly less likely. But okay, we were talking about Worlds debuts, right? After Playins, and we have C9 and 100 Thieves playing for the first time since the LCS finals. How are we feeling about these teams? We'll go 100 Thieves first because Delphi's just raring to talk about them.
Whoa. Let's not say all that. You know what I'm raring to do? I'm raring to go to sleep. I'm just kidding. I think 100 Thieves.
Just like when I'm watching a 100 Thieves game.
Okay,
Sure.
don't say that. Don't say that.
That's foul.
It
Let
is
her
foul.
have her moment. You never
Anyway,
do Delphi moments in any of
um,
these segments.
That's what I'm saying. Arsh never lets me talk. He never lets me have my moment. Anyway, so I think 100 Thieves is they looked a little bad in the LCS finals. we don't like I don't want to say it, but they did not look good. Anyway, besides that, I think they have been playing a lot. Like they've been playing Champs Key. Oh, they've been playing on their main accounts. They've been playing on the right accounts that they were given for Worlds Bootcamp. They've been playing pretty well. Closer, I don't know. Well, you guys probably don't know this, but Closer has been uploading to his YouTube channel videos of him popping off against some of the Worlds players, and I'm like, okay, well, you gapped Canyon, and I know it's a solo queue game, but at the same time, it's doing better. I feel like it shows improvement because
That's interesting. Any other? I mean, yeah. I mean, CQ is a good point, right? Maybe
and I was
Thieves.
going to talk about Champions Queue and how people are saying that Flying Oysters is going to beat them. Well, Flying Oysters has been running it down like they're paid to do so in Champions Queue.
Okay,
And
but
100 Thieves has actually been trying.
would you
to
say that
perform.
CQ is like scrims, right? Because
Yeah, I
people
feel
say
like there's a lot of pros.
scrims are anti-evidence, right? Like if you're losing scrims, you just crush on stage. So if you're
first
inting
of all,
champs
that's not
queue, do you do better on
necessarily
stage?
true. Second, I think Champions Queue is the closest we're gonna get to a look into scrims. I mean, Kadrill said it. Kadrill's like, this is what scrims are like. Like, you just kind of run it down and attempt to do something, and it doesn't matter because it's a scrim.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, I think 100 Thieves is a very solid shot of beating out Flying Oysters in their groups. Now, I'm not gonna say a single thing about RNGs. Y'all can talk about Cloud9 now.
Well, what I'll say is I agree that CQ is definitely a good representation of real skill because I mean we saw RJS gapped scout, which is exactly how you'd expect that to play out.
Of course.
Fake God gapping 369.
Yeah, fake God gapped
Nameplate's
369.
Nameplate's off. RDS can beat anyone.
Yeah, North American players. I mean, it's kind of expected coming into this, but North American players are just better than these top Chinese LPL players. Who, Fake God is Fake God, but who is 369? You know what I mean? Nobody knows.
Real.
I don't know, right?
He was rolling all three.
We have a home booth advantage.
Hey,
Remember?
just before some fans of LPL attack me, I do know who 369 is. That was a joke. All right. Any Cloud9 believers in here who want to talk about Cloud9?
That's you.
Okay, well, I was
Let's
setting
go
myself up
Cloud9.
then. Okay, John said let's go Cloud9. He works for
Let's go
Equal Geniuses.
Cloud9.
That's
Let's go
bias. Get him
Cloud9.
fired, boys. Get it on. Get it trending. No. Okay.
Hey,
I mean,
most of your
Cloud9,
time
I
were
think
NA wins.
every NA fan, I have a very easy argument to make here. I'm not going to talk very long. Every NA fan knows it's Cloud9. I mean, they're just going to be they're the team to watch here. They have the hardest group, arguably. Or, I mean, EG's group is really hard too, but everyone believes that Cloud9 will do the most, right? I think EDG and T1 have shown clear weaknesses. C9 domestically, especially near the end of playoffs, I don't think showed any weaknesses really, at all. Which again, I mean, they were against EG with a sub and 100 Thieves playing like 100 Thieves, so it was a little bit hard for them to show a weakness. But I think that by the end of playoffs, it was pretty strong for C9. So I think that looks pretty solid for them. I think the argument is pretty obvious. Regardless, the next thing we wanted to talk about, other than the teams debuting, is I guess how they will do, right? So it's everyone did their pickems. I guess we can go down. We can talk about if we had anything differing from the norm. John, did you have anything unexpected?
I went full cope on my pickems. So I think the teams I have going out from each group. Group A, I have Cloud9 first and T1 second. In Group B, I have EG first and JDG second. No bias. In Group
EG
C,
first,
I have
JDG second?
yes.
Are you sure?
I
I
told
mean, I
you,
think JDG
full
should be
cope.
third. Like, I think EG's way better than JDG.
No. GT is just not making it out.
I'm so mad at you, but you're gonna keep going.
Group C, I have Top Esports first and Rogue second. And then in Group D, I have Gen G first and 100 Thieves second. All three NA teams are making it out, and only one EU team is making it out. Let's go!
This is a interesting perspective.
Full cope. I'm on full cope. And this is NA's year.
Yeah, so
NAmen.
I would just check to make sure that you did inhale some oxygen along with that, because that's pretty important to breathing, because it seems like you've been taking a lot of copium. And as much as I'm an NA fan, those are some very wild predictions. Anyone have anything less wild than John, perhaps?
Oh, I can say my pickems.
Yeah.
For Group 1, or Group A, whatever, I have T1 and EDG first, second. Group B, I have... It was very difficult to decide, but in the end, I looked at a picture of Showmaker, and I have Dom1 second after JDG. Group C,
That's
I have Top Esports and DRX.
Wait, so who was going to be third in Group B? Who were you who are you between Dom1 and who?
I have JDG, Dom1, Evil Geniuses, G2. And in Group D, I have Genji, 100 Thieves, Flying Oyster, and then Royal Never Give Up.
Damn. That's a interesting placement for
one
RNG.
NA team making it out, and I have all of my favorite LPL SDK teams making it out.
I feel like our pickems were maybe not actually picking them. You know what I'm saying? But those are pretty interesting. I think a lot of people, like, I mean, to like speak genuinely, like, I think a lot of people think that NA is kind of screwed in groups. I don't actually share that feeling. I think that this is almost as good as we could have gotten it, considering the situation we came into the draw with. I don't know, like, if you guys were to bet on one team to make it out, I guess, right? Like, I mean, we did our pick'ems a little bit jokey, but like, just go down the list of like what team, if you had to put money down, and ideally as little bias as possible. So I guess maybe like don't pick 100 Thieves Delphi, don't pick EG John. Which team would you bet on?
Do you just want us to say C9?
I guess, yeah, there's only 3 options, so never mind, don't do that. I don't know. Just tell me what team you think NA fans should be like, that's where our chips are. Because let's be honest, it's going to be really hard to get more than one team out of groups. It always is with this format. But we did get one team out last year. So who's that team going to be? And tell me why, I guess. Numiii, you didn't speak in a while. No, go ahead.
I feel like I'm a resident like EG fan as well, but I feel like if it's your first time watching like Worlds and stuff, you want to like root for a North American team, I would put money on C9. I think Cloud9 had looked amazing in their dominant 3-0 against 100 Thieves in summer finals. I think Berserker is an incredible ADC. I think you can put him on anything and he plays extremely well. I think the team plays well around Berserker. I think each player plays well individually. I can go on about like each individual strength, but I'll leave that to another individual here. But I think if you were to tell me like who's gonna make it out for NA, I would put money on C9.
John? You had muted.
Yeah, I think it's feasible for 2 NA teams to actually get out.
Wow.
And this is not my cope take,
Oh.
right?
No
Because
cope.
in Group A, Cloud9 definitely the strongest NA rep this year. And I think that they match up pretty evenly with all the teams. It's going to be kind of like a slugfest. So, like, realistically, they get out second, barely. And then over in Group D, if you're a team that wants to squeak out, I feel like Group D is kind of a group of life, right? Because you have Flying Oyster, who's like, just based on like perception from the outside looking in, everyone's expecting them to get last place. And then you have Genji, who is probably considered the strongest team at Worlds. So that's a clear 6-0 and a clear 0-6. So it's kind of on 100 Thieves and RNG. So if 100 Thieves can like steal a game against RNG, then they can probably get out, like sneak out barely.
Yeah, I mean that would be a 3-3 scenario. So what John is referring to is like because it's 6 games and people kind of anticipate Gen G being a lot stronger than RNG, especially after RNG's performance in Playins. RNG would be down 0-2. And there's some ways you have to like mess around with it, but there are definitely universes where 100 Thieves can get to tie breaks against RNG. 100 Thieves can grab a BO1 against RNG and then get like even further ahead. These kinds of things happen always in groups like this. So it's a little bit, it's always a little bit scary as RNG because you have a lot of pressure, right? You're against 100 Thieves CFO. If you don't make it out, it's a massive disappointment. It's a lot of pressure on your org. Andrea, if you have something you want to talk about, a player or a team that you think
I
should watch.
have a reality check. No team is going out. Sorry. That's it.
On the NAmen Podcast, you speak
You
so many
changed- you
languages and you
changed
chose
after
to
you came
spit
back.
not
You
facts today.
changed after you came back.
I'm sorry. Just kidding. I mean, C9 of course is going to get out because one of those teams, because one of T1 or EDG is going to just completely flop, and
Ooh.
C9 is going to make it out. And then I don't know. I think 100 Thieves could get out. It's not impossible. RNG did just lose a game to DFM, so it's a best of one. Anything can happen. So yeah. And EG, unfortunately, that group looks very scary.
He's just gonna win. They're gonna
But-
win.
One did not look strong, but regardless.
What I will say about EG is that they have they are like they are not coming in cold, you know. They have been playing a lot already, and so that's a good thing for them. They have been practicing a lot, so maybe that helps them. Maybe that helps them get some upsets. It's not impossible, I guess, for them to get out.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of upsets and practicing a lot, Upset has not been practicing a lot. I mean, Fnatic, like, they made it out of Group 1 in Seed 1, and they didn't even, like, scrim more than twice, I think, right? Like, that was the report. I mean, looking at practice, I mean, it's already really wonky. We don't know the level of these teams. We don't know what the meta was, because apparently the best team out of Group 1 didn't even scrim.
So practice seems like it got really messed up by this scheduling,
Yeah.
right? Everything about this world's scheduling sounds really bad for everyone. So I don't know.
I mean,
Sounds
from
like
what
a
I've heard,
mess.
like, there's been some really weird things. I think I can talk about this. The COVID thing that happened on day 1 of Worlds, that was I think I can say this. It was like a whole thing, which like it was Riot's fault logistically. Like I don't want to go into more because it's not the topic, right? But it's like that got in the way of teams, right? Like that was a big problem. And if you didn't catch this, by the way, this is on day 1. A bunch of players had to play remotely instead of on stage. So that was a big problem because apparently like half the players in Worlds had like supposedly tested positive.
Yeah.
And the next day they were back on stage and it was like, oh, never mind, haha, they were all actually negative. And that was Riot's fault, like without going into too much more. And it's like that also messed with teams, right? Other than the fact that like all the obvious stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Riot dropped the ball. That's the term. Yeah, they dropped the ball really, really hard this world. The late ticketing, the late scheduling, the late announcements on every single thing. Like, I didn't know when Worlds was gonna be. I didn't know when tickets were gonna go on sale. I was very fortunate that my mom offered to pay for my flight. She wanted me home, and she was like, "Well, if League of Legends is a way to get you home, then like I'll pay for your flight." And like, if she hadn't done that, I would have been down a lot of money to get a flight that last minute. And also, like, people are flying from other countries and they book their flights before the tickets even came out. It's like the ticketing was
I did
also a
that.
problem. And then the COVID tests were a problem. And then if you think about it, RNG and EG have like 2 days turnaround before they have to go play in the first day of
Yep.
group.
That's
And then, like,
pretty
Also,
harsh.
they don't protect against scalpers at all
Yeah.
with Ticketmaster.
Well, it's
I mean,
protecting on scalpers is hard. Yeah. Oh, go
I
ahead,
will
Numi.
say from
Ticketing
like
is hard.
a ticketing perspective, for those who don't follow my Twitter, I actually made like 5 to 6 tweets and or 5 to 6 threads about ticketing, how to protect yourselves from scammers. This is not a Riot problem per se. Every artist, this is a Ticketmaster problem. Every artist has the problem with
Yeah.
scalpers, right? You can't control that.
It's
I
everyone.
thought Riot actually, I liked that verified fan presale where if you put in your email and if you were selected, you were given a code. It doesn't mean that you got a ticket, but it means you got access to go into the waiting room to get a ticket. I actually appreciate that because I feel like for a lot of Western artists, they actually do this as well. So I appreciate.
Stray Kids JYP.
I don't want to talk about Stray Kids. That was a nightmare. I went to 3 days of Stray Kids. This is the only reason why I know anything about ticketing. So I
Boo,
will.
K-pop.
It is not Riot's fault for the scalping. Like I will give
Yeah,
them that.
I think so.
However,
If you want
Oh,
tickets.
they could have done a lot more, in my opinion.
And also I was gonna say, the way they treated media and like
oh, absolutely.
stuff like that was awful. Like I don't know if you were on Hotline League last night, like the stream, but Travis mentioned like they weren't given any space to do their interviews. They have to do all their interviews over Zoom, and why would you want Zoom interviews at an in-person event? Like
Yeah,
it's
like
so
that's
stupid.
completely ruins it.
And like I have friends that were like trying to get like they were trying to apply to do like to be journalists at like certain worlds like stages, and their applications were either never answered or they were rejected. I don't know a single person who was accepted besides like the biggest ones, you know.
Yeah, like
So
Germ, David Sinok, and like those people have gotten in, but like it's I think that media has generally been a problem. Ashley Kang talked about how weird it's been, and I think Riot generally this Worlds it's been very clear the problem points that they absolutely must fix for next year, right? And I know we're not talking about next year, but like these are things that like fans have been concerned about, and the Ticketmaster thing that Numi brought up is absolutely true. Like it's not Riot's fault really. Like they can't help it. That's just a virtue of like hosting an event in America. You have to work with Ticketmaster, and Ticketmaster is designed by people who don't know what captchas are, even though they were invented like 90 years ago. And that's just how it is, right? But it's like there's other things where Riot absolutely has not matched up. But this does bring up an interesting point because this is Riot Global, and I've been wanting to talk about this. I think LCS in the off season has actually been smurfing in terms of like a lot of different avenues. So this was something interesting. What's like we talked about CQ a little bit, we touched on it, but CQ has been incredible. It has been a success by every metric. And this is going to be a bit of a spiel, and I'm going to let people, kind of comment on what they think. But like, I mean, CQ has literally brought thousands of viewers overall, right? Like we're talking up to 10,000 viewers overall, aggregate across like Twitch, YouTube, whatever, to watch League of Legends, pro League of Legends players play when they're not doing pro games. This is off Riot broadcast, right? This is generating content, visibility. This is a high competition solo queue environment or solo queue-esque environment, right? There's comms, right? Like this is one of the most incredible like logistical things that they've tackled, and they've done it super well, right? And I think that the content that's come out of this, Riot Whooply released a thing today, like updating the rules, and they said that World's CQ is not meant for content, but I would argue that if it's generating such amazing content, you should take advantage of that, right? Like I think players should be recording every game that happens during Worlds and uploading it to YouTube. Even unedited. Don't edit it. No face cam, no voice. Just literally take the video of the game and upload it. It is so low effort, and if you did it with higher effort, of course, you'd get more views on the video, but like if you just did it that way, you can get a lot of growth from that as a player, and you can get a lot of eyes on your game, right? Like this is important stuff. I think CQ has been incredible. Huge shout out to Jackie Felling and like Riot Whooply and all the other people who I know have killed it working on this project. I don't know if you guys had more thoughts talking about CQ.
I was gonna talk about yesterday. Well, I went to sleep early because I have a morning class. I had a morning class today, and then I had work after, so I don't want to be super tired. But I woke up, and after I went to class, I watched a game from XU's stream of him, Tenacity, Ayla, Showmaker, and Duckdom, right? And like I can't like obviously you can't see how many viewers like he had in the VOD, but like I didn't exactly count, but from my like guesstimate, he gains like 20 to 30 followers just from that one game. Like it's such good content, and it's like, and Showmaker and Dr. Mar are absolutely hilarious. Like their English is very good, and they were calming and stuff, and that was like it was super funny. It was really entertaining. And I think Champions Q just brings that entertainment value with also like giving us the fans like a little insight on what it's like to be in a scrim where things aren't nearly as serious as like voice comes on stage.
Yeah,
So I like Champions Q a
you
lot.
get to see
I've been
player
watching.
personalities, right? It's incredible. But actually, like I was curious. XZ's a great example. He's been doing terrific. I'm a huge XU fan. I met him in real life, and he was really nice. Complete class act. We were at scouting grounds, or not at scouting grounds, proving grounds. Just so we're like, I have the stats pulled up. I might tweet about this after. So if you want, you can check that out on Twitter. But XU's a great example of someone who's been streaming the fuck out of Champions Q. His average followers gain for the last, let's say, until the beginning of since the beginning of this year, right, has been between 30 and 60, like in a single month, in a single stream, whatever. In the last 2 streams he's done, right, the recent streams, he has gained 500 followers across those 2, or 400 followers, and he's had way more average viewers, literally like quadruple the number of average viewers. So like, that's a perfect example, right? This player is like, I mean, it's not a lot of viewers at this point. It's not a lot of followers at this point, but for a pro player who is on a bottom team in the LCS, who just got promoted up, this is really good for him, right? Yeah, I don't know, like, Andrea, Numiii, thoughts on that?
Can go. I kind of actually want to give like a more realistic view on CQ. While I think it's fantastic for fans to watch different players, regional or international, I think CQ itself, and this is me being a doomer, it can be considered kind of a failure in a sense that like the average person doesn't know this exists, right? So like context for me, I'm very new into esports. I'm only about 3 to 4 months in, but I distinctly remember when I watched Captain Flowers on Twitch, I didn't know any of the players he was talking about, right? I didn't even know what he was doing. I just knew he was casting something. And it wasn't until I looked more into depth because like someone on Twitch linked me the Champions Q bot that's on Twitter, and I started following it. I started understanding esports and like League a little more, that I understood the importance of CQ. But that's because someone had to tell me about it, right?
I
That's
think
not something I looked for on my own accord. It's
I
just
can
not advertised as properly, in my opinion. And I feel
it's
like the
all
average
over the
person
LCS
doesn't know about
broadcast
it.
now. Like, I mean, definitely
It
before,
is.
but like, I think like LCS, I think it hasn't been on the Worlds broadcast as much, but they've talked about Champions Cube all the time. They've linked directly to it. Riot started promoting the
They showed
official
VOD from
Factor
it too.
bot and stuff on their own social channels. There's something I reached out to Jackie Velling about a month or so ago, or a little bit more, and I said like Riot needs to really integrate this Champs Q bot into official social channels, and that's something they've done. So I'd actually disagree. Like, I think that they've been doing super well at like getting the normie audience to pick up on this, because if they hadn't, we would not see this kind of viewership. Like, Casual would not have like 10K viewers watching CQ, right?
I mean, to
Mid
be
Beast would
fair,
not
a lot
have
of
10K
that is
viewers.
like international fans.
Yeah, like
Right, but that's
honestly,
so
like
a lot
good.
of it. I mean, yeah, of course, but like, you like, Numi definitely has a point about like marketing, but I think showing the Champs Q VOD, showing like, the stream that 129 that 129 kill Spica game where they're like yelling and they're like, oh my god, Spica, I love you so much, like stuff like that. I think that really generates interest, and
Yeah, it's
then
good content
you
for broadcast
introduce
for sure.
international fans to NA streamers and NA fans to international streamers, and I think the marketing of Champs Q, at least for Worlds, has been a resounding success.
At scale, I would agree. Like, I think for a thing that was launched so last minute, that was pulled together because it was the debut year of Champs Q, and they wanted to do something cool that the community was asking for. I think it's done incredibly well. So that's my position on that. But we've talked about Champions Q for more than enough time now. We are getting into the later stage of the episode, which means that we can start getting spicy with it. So I don't know, Delphi, do you have a simp episode? Do you have a simp feature that you'd like to get out, or Numiii, or
Numiii,
Andrea?
go first. Or
I
Andrea, go
actually do
first.
have something to Uh, okay, so yeah, allow me to have this moment. So I went to Playins, right? And like I saw this tweet from Empire, the head of scouting at the G. He talked about a little bit about the first part of the tweet was about jojopyun becoming a fan favorite at Worlds, and I feel like as someone who was there and was part of the crowd, like I felt like the crowd was slowly picking up on Jojo and picking up the way he played and the energy he brings to the game, and like I can't stop thinking about like the day two in the second game. At the end of that game, like people in the crowd started chanting his name. They were Jojo, Jojo, and like this is not the LCS crowd. This is not the home crowd. These are people who literally just went there and started chanting his name because, oh my god, this guy, he's so cool, right? I feel like Jojo really stole everyone's heart this event, to be honest.
Yeah.
The second part of Empire's tweet was about Kaori. So you guys know I am an Academy fan, so I have been watching Kaori like the whole year, and I have been like, I still remember the first time I watched Kaori in Academy. His first game, he played Jin, and I was like stunned by his gameplay. I didn't even know Jin could be a real champion until I saw him play it. So I was really excited about him. I don't think he had the greatest summer, and then he just like he had to go and play as an LCS playoff series, and then he had to go to Worlds, and it's like that's a lot to happen to someone, right? And then I think he had some issues during play-ins, and people were not very kind to him at all. Like I saw some really harsh comments about him going around. So like the last series versus Matt, right? He had a really good series and he delivered a lot on what I think I expect from him. So I was really happy to see that as someone who's like, I clearly have priorities because I'm talking about jojopyun and I'm talking about
Yeah, I
Kaori.
mean, no, but it's fair, right? Like it's completely fair.
Yeah, so like to me it felt really really great to see him perform that last day. And yeah, basically I related a lot to that because those two players were like the ones I had on my watch during these play-ins, and I think they did so well, and I'm really happy to have like I'm really happy about the last series. Like I'm really happy that they just showed up that last series because they did look like they needed some waking up to do, and they finally did.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts about that. Then I want to bring something up about what Andrea said. Anything specific? No? Okay, so what I wanted to bring up actually, because Andrea, you brought up a great point, was actually Kaori's performance. Because as we know, Reddit is always right. And Reddit was saying, and the Twitter consensus even was that and this is not amongst like big analysts, this is not LS, this is not Dom, this is not, people like that. This is like just people, and they're assuming that Kaori's performance is like really bad, right? And people are just using any EG loss to shit on Kaori and be like, when is Danny back? Bring Danny back, bro. Like, but like even outside of the Mad series, and I think John, maybe you might be able to comment on this. Like, I didn't think Kaori performed that badly.
Kaori performed well. The bot lane for Mad was the weakest part of their game, in my opinion. They picked Draven, I think in two of the three games,
Yeah,
two
that
or three of the
was
games,
sad.
and
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
yeah, 2 out of 3 games, and the Draven was useless. So like they
Yeah,
played.
I mean, it
like
got
Kaori
wrecked.
played well. Kaori played well. I think Kaori.
Well, but like even outside of the
Kaori and-
series, like outside of the Mad series, do you think his performance was solid? Like playing holistically? Because I think he performed
games
super
weren't-
well in the Mad series, but
I don't think games were necessarily his fault that they lost. I mean, like obviously have to adjust to the new environment, but from the few Academy games I watched, him and Yeon, I think, from the TL Academy
Yawn,
ADC,
yeah.
those are the
Yeon!
Yawn.
those are the two best ADCs from Academy. and Kaori's performing like at like well above like what people thought, because they're like, oh, academy player, he's probably gonna like do terribly. He's
Oh
been
no,
doing really
no,
well.
we don't
Yeah,
do that here. We don't do that here.
like genuinely, I don't think like there's many LCS ADCs who I would rather have over Kaori.
I mean, Kaori is an LCS level ADC, you know, like we
Yeah.
have known that since
No,
spring.
well, not
so,
like LCS level, but like
it's really...
actually in the LCS, right? Like, how many ADCs that started in the LCS for summer would I rather have over Kaori? Like out of the two not attending Worlds, I'm not certain, right? Like, I don't think it's.
Not going to comment.
I don't think there's that much like competition. I think Kaori is performing absolutely at the level of an LCS caliber ADC. I think he's been doing super well, and I think that the people defaulting to hating on him are just assuming that he's bad.
Haters.
You guys are
haters.
doomers. You guys are doomers because you don't want NA to
Haters.
win. So you just be like, EG bad. Well, you know what? We don't like doomers in this podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Haters.
and EG killed it. It was really an all-American effort with their European jungler and Canadian mid laner carrying the series. Their Korean top laner really showed up.
Canada's NA.
Their Turkish ADC and their Canadian support
Canada's
really.
NA.
Canada's NA. Why are you doing that? to
Canada's
both?
NA.
Yeah, I know.
Why
I
you
know.
That
doing
just
this to
played for LCS longer
I
than
can't
he has for
believe-
any other region.
This is an Arsh over party moment. He really
I
said
said
that
Arsh.
Canada
Oh
is not
my
an A.
God.
No, I know. I
Jesus
said
Christ.
like an when you say America, usually people refer to the United States. But regardless, I'm just making a joke. There's this big thing of like there's only one United States representative at Worlds, and it's like there's a
It's
lot of
because-
Canadian representatives. There's like, you know what I mean? Whatever. We've discussed this before. My point being, I think these NA players are playing, these LCS players are playing super, super well, and I'm really excited because this is the level of EG, right? And we have to remember that 100 Thieves beat them in best of 5. C9 beat them in best of 5, right? Mad Lions barely lost to Rogue, right? And then Rogue swept G2, and there's this whole problem with that. But like, at the very least, our top 3 seeds should be able to contend with the top 3 seeds of Europe, right? That's what we've seen. Should be able to contend, right? Because we beat their 4th seed very handily, right? Our 3rd seed beat their 4th seed with a sub. So we should see some solid competition, and I think, I mean, let's have that conversation. We're 10 minutes out from the end of the episode. NA versus EU. What we thinking? How are they gonna do?
Is this our down bad segment? Except instead of talking about a specific player or a team, are we just gonna talk about NA
Yeah.
as our segment?
I mean, we can do a down bad segment at the end too, if anyone wants. But we had a whole down bad episode last time, so I feel like maybe we've done enough of that. But if anyone wants to, let me know. We can do a down bad segment. But yeah, what do you guys think? I already forgot the question I asked.
Talk about 100 Thieves, Busio.
Oh, you want to talk about 100 Thieves
Hey,
Busio?
well,
Okay, well,
we should
we'll
let
slot that into the
other people have a chance
Yeah.
for their down bad segment.
I think
But
we
let's
should do it.
I would prefer not to actually, but let's talk about like NA versus EU because this is my first Worlds. I'm actually really excited to watch this rivalry. I'm so excited for everyone to flame me in my mentions when I say that I love NA, and I'm really excited for all 3 of our seeds. I think each team is comparable to EU, and I think we have like a banger like group stages over the next 2 weeks. So I'm gonna put all my hope in NA, even if my pickems look a little weird, which I might
Yeah.
change later.
I don't know,
But
like, oh, go ahead.
but I actually believe in NA. I think this is a really strong pool we have, and I'm just really excited to watch good games since like I don't need doomers telling me that we're gonna shit the bed because it's like I just want to watch
You
good
just
games.
shit the bed.
I
That's
want to
one
watch
down.
good
Yeah,
games. What's wrong with me wanting to watch a nice good game of League of Legends?
true.
I think we're gonna clap EU. They're called Eastern America for a reason. God bless
That's true.
America. The land of
Everyone
the
says that about
free,
Europe.
home of the brave. I believe in Robert supremacy.
Robert?
Robert.
Who's
Blabber.
Blabber's name is
Bobby.
Robert?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yes,
Bobby.
his
The
name
boy
is
You would
Bobby.
feel
Bobby.
you would
What
feel
the
that surprise test. If Travis went up to you with Mike and be like, what is Blabber's real name? You would feel that.
Yeah, because that's
Robert Bobby Huang.
Blabberfish too?
dude, I would not guess Robert as Blabber's name ever. Okay, well, so I think this is something I kind of want to talk about at some point or write about, but like I think if you take out teams that have caps on them, like EU has performed at or below NA's level for years, right?
Yo.
Like straight up. Like last year, EU had the same performance. MSI, that had caps on it, so it's hard for me to make the argument. But like, regardless, right? Like I don't think the level is as far apart as EU fans will argue it is, and I'm an EU fan, right?
Arsh,
I think-
question. Arsh,
what?
Arsh, I have a
Humor.
question.
What?
Where was Cap's last Worlds?
Where was EU last Worlds? EU got 3-0 in quarters.
Was Cap? Oh,
Caps was ELO held. Where was Caps at MSI? Okay, we can make
Caps
this my
was
down bad
ELO
segment.
held.
This
Caps
is
was
an
the
NA
be-
podcast.
Caps has been the-
Caps.
Caps has been in contention for the best player of the tournament for every international tournament he's attended since his rookie year, other than his
You
rookie
want to
year.
do the down bag segment?
Not this
Right?
time. Not this time.
You want
Not
to do the down bag
we
segment
haven't
about
seen him
Caps?
yet. I am saying.
And what
I am
happened?
saying.
No team beats EG 7 times in a row.
True. We could say that off the cuff. EG will not go. EG will meet G2 in quarters, and they will take at least one game.
They can't beat them in quarters. They're in the same group.
Oh wait,
G2's
what?
not making
Oh,
it out of groups. EG's
holy
making it
wait!
out.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
John.
EG's gonna get the
I
rematch.
cannot wait for Evil Geniuses to lose another 2 games.
Dude,
you.
no, it'd be such a reversal if EU fans got to be like, yeah, you 3-0'd one of our teams, but we're 8-0 against you with
I think I would
G2.
lose my mind.
I'm
Dude,
Fine,
I
will beat Fnatic anyways.
I love G2, but like, bro, let him have one. Just let him have
Cloud9 will
one.
beat
please,
Cloud9
let
will
us
beat
have one.
Fnatic.
Cloud9 will be Fnatic 2-0.
Yep.
EG will split 1-1.
Yep.
I'm calling it.
Okay. That is a fun discussion. I wish we could. Yeah. I mean, groups is gonna be fucking crazy. I'm gonna be at TwitchCon
It's
watching
gonna be
groups.
fun.
I'm literally gonna be at TwitchCon in the theater there watching groups.
Wow.
So
Thanks for inviting us
Instead
to
of-
TwitchCon, Arsh.
Imagine exploring
Numiii,
TwitchCon.
I
It couldn't be me.
literally invited you to TwitchCon and you said no. I hate you. Ew. You said that. Numiii said that
I
to me in
did not
DMs.
say. I have. You have no receipts about that. We have receipts about you.
Numiii
So, I don't
Numiii
think you
said
can
that,
just
and I
pull
was
up
very
Pull
hurt.
up your receipts.
Numiii said that, and then I asked John to come too, and he said no. Ew. He
I
said the
didn't
same
say
thing.
no. Ew, I could pull up the receipts.
okay. But I don't know. Do we have a? I feel like we should end on something fun. We always end on something fun. I don't know if we have a
Yeah,
down
you
bad
should
segment.
watch the Worlds. You should watch the Ovally Worlds video.
You want us to live react to the Ovally Worlds video?
Maybe if we had video for this podcast, well, if we got more sponsors and more listeners, maybe we can do a special episode for that. So tell your friends about this podcast.
Alright, yeah,
True.
we're gonna
Like 2
do
minutes, Arsh.
we're gonna do a special episode at some point, and we just committed to that. But yeah, okay. Well, we're running out of steam here. Everyone seems to just be excited about groups. NA's gonna shit on EU, except for Caps because I love Caps.
Caps is gonna
Okay,
get
Arsh.
gapped.
But-
Caps is
It's gonna
making
get
it out.
gapped.
but we're all excited for groups. We are all excited for Worlds to continue, even though Riot has maybe not done the best job of running Worlds this year. That's it for the NAmen Podcast. Shout out to our sponsor again, Travis Gafford, upping our production quality by a significant amount. Thank you so much for listening. We're gonna go down and we're gonna
Wait, we
shout out
have
our.
a message from
Oh yeah,
LCS Miracle on Twitter. Because unfortunately Maya could not make it today because her roommates are absolute pieces of. My mom watches this. They're very wonderful, lovely people. Anyway, so she couldn't make it because she has to mommy them into their roommate agreement or whatever. So, this is Maya's statement. Hi everyone, it's Maya. Many of you will have seen me trolling everyone, including TSM, EU, and your mom on your timelines. If not, if
We
not,
got the one your mom joke.
Got
if
him.
not, you have probably seen some of my videos that are meant to make you laugh and cringe at the same time under LOL Esports replies. And the video she's talking about is the deep fried reacts, the ones like that are like inspired. was
jojopyun has
not
created a
inspired by
mid-lane
your
differential.
I was meant to debut on this episode, but stuff came up, so I couldn't. Oof. I hope you enjoy the work of my extremely talented best friends for now, my Razor's Edge, and I will see you on the next episode. And before I go, roses are red, your mom's in my bed, violets are blue, NA over EU.
Wow,
NA over EU. Even Maya, who could not make this episode, is saying NA over EU.
That's
so
beautiful.
thank you.
That was
Real.
that's
I
a
almost cried. I almost
guys. Remember, pull that out.
Beautiful.
Ratio the fuck out of any EU fans in your mentions.
I
That's a
just
joke.
said my mom watched this.
Ratio the frick out of any EU fans in your mentions. No, but
Using Maya's like videos.
Yes.
yeah,
Actually.
that
Even
and the
then-
poem, right? But also, if you haven't already, now the group stage is starting, add your change your profile pictures to Elaine's art. You guys would have seen that all around NA Twitter.
There's stuff for 100 Thieves, Cloud9, and Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that's Fluff JWI on Twitter. Fluff with 2 Fs. I'm sure you guys know.
Me too on Twitter.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah,
Change your
don't
profile
forget to do.
pictures. Join the cult. But yeah, we're gonna go down, do shoutouts. I'm Arsh, Arshcoil13 on Twitter. Dig Arsh, the notorious one who's gotten into trouble for a lot of stuff, I guess. You probably have heard of me at some point for being an asshole on Twitter.
Beating up Thorin?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was kind of in shock of what Arsh just said, so but continue, Delphi.
Yeah, Delphi.
I'm Delphino or Delphi, December OLI on Twitter. Because Arsh won't let me freaking talk about Busio, I guess I'll just have to say it in my shout out that Stan 100 Thieves Busio, he is on TikTok at 100 Thieves Busio and Twitch at Busio LOL and Twitter at just Busio. And he makes lots of content, and he said he's going to update his Instagram story at Alan Solina, and we're mutuals on Instagram. So anyway, shout out to Vicio, best world's content humanly possible. Shout out to my mom, who is apparently watching this episode now, and shout out to Jisung from NCT Dream. I love him so much.
All right, I guess I'm next. So, yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter at JohnTheHo64. And shout out to EG for hiring me, letting me post banger memes and shit post. Mainly, I just want to shout out the fact that internships just went live. So if for some reason you're in college, you want to work in esports, and any of the one openings apply to you, apply. Because then you can shit post on EG Twitter as well.
True. That's real. That's a big part of the job. All right, go ahead, Numiii.
Okay, I want to shout out my Twitter, Numiii, Numiii. I've been posting threads about Worlds ticketing, so if you have questions about ticketing, trying to find a scammer, trying to ask if StubHub is good, please reach out to my DMs. I'm happy to help. Also, just want to shout out Travis Gafford Industries again for sponsoring this podcast. I'm actually really excited to see him do a live Hotline League in not just one city, but in 5 to 6 cities with Mark Z and Double Lift as well for 2 of those dates. So thank you, Travis, for sponsoring this podcast. He listens to it, so I'm really happy about that. But I should.
And last but not least,
Yeah. I want to shout out Evil Geniuses for the amazing experience of watching them at Worlds this past few days. I am really happy that they won. I would have been insanely sad if they lost, and I was watching there. So I am very excited to see them play at groups. I am not super hopeful, but I'm still very happy that they made it. And thank you, Evil Geniuses, for being great.
yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is episode 4 of the NAmen Podcast. Signing off. We will see you guys next week after first part of groups. At some point during groups it'll be, but that's how it is. Yeah. Checking off for now. See you guys. Thank you for listening.